Are you ready for UFC 299 this weekend? Well, I got some exciting news for you UFC fans. I have teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook to bring you the ultimate fight night experience. Imagine this, you're a new customer to DraftKings, you place an initial wager, and if that bet doesn't hit, no sweat. You will get a bonus bet back in the amount of your original bet up to $1,000. Just download the DraftKings app. Make sure you sign up using my promo code Sonnen. The crown is yours. And DraftKings has got something for the existing customers as well. All customers get SGP insurance every day. Get a bonus bet back in the amount of your initial bet if one leg of your SGP loses. Minimum number of legs required and maximum bet varies. If sportsbook betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. Download the DraftKings app right now. New customers, use my promo code Sonnen and get a no sweat bet. That's promo code Sonnen only at DraftKings Sportsbook. My favorite tweet of the day is possibly the most random tweet, and if I didn't bring it to your attention, you would likely miss it. So, I very seldomly miss anything that comes out of Moicano's mouth. Like, as soon as Moicano took the microphone 2 years ago and said Moicano needs money, Moicano needs steak, I was in. Like, Moicano needs money. So he took a fight on short notice. Moicano likes steaks. It was great. But Moicano has put out a tweet, and there's no way this is him. There's no way that Moicano put this out. But you gotta stay with me here. Okay, so Benoit Saint-Denis, straight up stud. Taking on Dustin Poirier, favorite. He should not be the favorite. That is fake news, but set that aside. Saint-Denis has actually made headlines in the last 24 hours. Moicano included, now this isn't a tweet, okay, you gotta picture this. Moicano included a picture of Benoit Saint-Denis, and here was the caption. And the reason that Denis had made headlines is people are taking his picture all week, right? It's media week, and there's a dot up here on his head that people have decided is a staph infection. Now, I am not a dermatologist, but I will tell you, I am an expert in skin funguses. They just come in jiu-jitsu rooms, wrestling mats, like they grow in ringworm. What a gross term, right? Ringworm. They're all over wrestling rooms. Like it's one of those things where my son got his first ringworm at 8 years old, and he wasn't even wrestling. He was in the room as I was coaching. I'm just sharing, like, these are very common things. I don't agree that he has staph. That is my first point. I do not agree that just by looking at this is staph. But stay with me anyway, because here's what Moicano says, and this is a topic that's going around right now. I will predict for you that nothing comes of this. However, it can. It can. If it is an active staph infection, there is things that the commission could do. They could stop the fight. They could halt the fight. USA Wrestling, by example, and then adopted by NCAA Wrestling, and now adopted even by high school wrestling in every state in this country, will do what's called a skin check. So picture the scale. You got to go weigh in, right? Before you get on the scale, you have to go do a skin check, where an official, you'll hold your hands out, you'll basically do a 360 as they're checking your body up and around to see if you have any of these funguses. If you do, you don't even get on the scale. You will not be allowed to participate in the tournament. Imagine that. That could be a very big deal. What if that came up the day of the NCAA tournament? What if that came up the day of the state finals, right? 3-day tournament. You've already run the first 2 days. Now you got the 30. I'm just saying it can be a big deal. And there is a precedence on it. I would not predict that a commission, even if they found he had an active staph infection, would stop the fight. But I'm telling you they could. And I'm also telling you there is a precedent. So, you guys might remember Paul, a couple-time All-American from Iowa, a friend and training partner of mine, but he was on The Ultimate Fighter and had a skin infection, and they sent him home. They literally sent him home. So that's the reason that Saint-Denis with this photograph is getting out. I'm trying to add you guys just a little bit of context to it. Now, if you have a staph infection, it takes, according to medical experts, 48 hours of antibiotics before you are not contagious. So you would still have, in Moicano's case, that you would still have the dot on your forehead, but it would no longer be contagious. From a wrestling perspective, when I was in college, if you had staph, you could not work out. But 48 hours later, after antibiotics, you could work out. Okay. Here's Moicano's tweet. Benoit Saint-Denis appears with something that looks like a staph infection. Could that change the fight? Is he taking antibiotics? Will this change the outcome of your fight? Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, I just want to tell you what is being discussed there. By the person that's running Moicano's Twitter account, let me tell you the attempt that they're trying to make. There is a common belief, and this is a situation where I don't want to keep going. I'm not a medical professional, but let me just speak freely, okay? Because I've been around this for 40 years of being in wrestling rooms. There is a belief that antibiotics can affect your cardio. That is a very common belief, and as a high school wrestling coach, we deal with this a lot, where we will get a young man, that 14, 15 years old, and his body's changing in puberty, and he goes through the acne phase. And part of the acne phase is they put him on antibiotics, and all of a sudden he can't finish a wrestling match. So I will just tell you from firsthand experience of seeing this multiple times over multiple decades. It's very real. There are certain antibiotics in certain body types that when you use them affect you. Now, Moicano knows that, or at least the person that tweeted from Moicano. They know that, but in a tweet where you have 160 characters or less, they didn't have time to explain that. And I thought it was an interesting point. I just wanted to explain to you, because this tweet is going around. He's done hundreds of thousands of views. And I wanted to tell you where Moicano's question is coming from. And so could it affect the fight? The people that are responding to Moicano are taking that from a perspective of, will the Florida State Athletic Commission not allow him to compete? That's how people are interpreting it. But I'm telling you what Moicano is meaning is, if he's on antibiotics, will it affect his cardio for the fight? Now, this is a reach. It's a reach. First off, we don't know what kind of antibiotics. We don't know how strong they are. We don't even know that he is on them. If he is, he would have to disclose that through the Athletic Commission. That would be public knowledge if you wanted to take the time to go and find it. My point is this. Even Moicano wouldn't know. I apologize. Even Saint-Denis wouldn't know. If he got out here to Florida and had something on his head, and somebody comes up and goes, that's staph, and we got to get you on antibiotics or you're not going to be able to get on the scale. If that happened and they swooped around him and checked the bylaws of what's a banned substance versus what can you take, and they go get him an antibiotic, he will not know if it's one of those antibiotics with his body type that affects his cardio until he gets in there on Saturday. And I get the witch hunt. I get the conspiracy that I'm on. I get it. I'm not yelling fire here. But it is an interesting concept. Sure it is. And there's no athletic commission anywhere that's going to do anything unless they're called on it. Ever. Well, they're being called on it. This is now a public thing. And people are asking the commission to make a decision if Saint-Denis can fight with a contagious staph infection. I can give you that answer already, which is going to be yes. I'm just sharing for you. It adds a piece of drama, and we've seen stranger things happen. If he is, in fact, being treated for the staph infection, Moicano's point about when did that treatment begin, and more importantly, what is that substance? Like a staph would be a very simple thing for even a general practitioner to give you a Cephalex and you run down to your local pharmacy and get it. But that's not how this works in this sport. You have to your own health has to be cross-referenced with the allowable substances. And there is a misconception by everybody, because the media doesn't understand it, so they tell you it wrong, that performance-enhancing drugs are banned. And the non-performance enhancing drugs are not banned. That is not the rule. That has never been the rule. There are a number of performance enhancers that you can take. There are a number of things that will not enhance your performance that are banned. The reason I tell you that, there's not a performance enhancing list. There's simply a banned list. That's it. And there's a number of very goofy things, including antibiotics, that are put on the banned list because they're believed to be masking agents. So when Moicano's asking, is he on antibiotics? He's suggesting that when Saint-Denis traveled, came to the state of Florida, that he wasn't aware that he had this. And since he's got here, and it's been captured by the media, and it's been put out that somebody would have swooped him, would have got him antibiotics, and he's asking, will those affect the fight? That's a twofold question. First off, would the commission do anything? And secondly, would it affect his cardio? I'm explaining to you, before you think you have to answer to me, I'm explaining to you what Moicano's question is. So if you give a response, you're actually giving it to Moicano, who, by the way, likes money and needs steaks.